Okay, am I live? I am live. Excellent. Hi, everybody. Can you guys see me and hear me? If someone could just drop on the chat that you can all see and hear me, okay, that would be great. And oh my God, there's so many people in here already. Let me say hi. Hi, James. Hi, Andrea from Philadelphia. Hey, Juan and Beth. How are you guys doing? Adrian, hola, hola. ¿Qué tal estás? Hey, Robin. Hi, Zina. How are you? Hi, Shannon. Hi, Jonathan. Thank you so much for letting me guys. Everything is working good. Hi, Jeannie. Hey, John from Norwich. No time, no see. How are you guys doing? Hope you're doing good. We're outdoors in a very special terrace here in Santander. I already have the churros. I'm waiting for my chocolate. So the setup is ready. So we can dive in. Hi everybody. How are you guys doing? I'm just finishing my drink while we wait. We have 3.5 minutes to get started. And well, the smell of the churros is already here. So when we start properly, I'll show you. And I will make sure we don't eat any before the tour starts. Important. But I hope you're all doing very, very good and that you're having a good day and a happy weekend because it's Friday already. The table should be pretty level, but you know, this is a terrace with tables that can move. So the gimbal is pretty set and we should be okay. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Janet. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us here live from Santander. Mi chocolate. Muchas gracias. My chocolate just arrived, which was the only thing we were missing. So, excellent. And I can show you, we have a little extra chocolate, but I'll tell you all about it in a moment because we are at a very special chocolateria, chocolate place here in Santander. It's not special to just Santander. This is actually a brand that is renowned in the whole of Spain. So I took you to, a proper Spanish place. Good. The way you do churros. It was either that or getting the churros from a churreria out on the street, which would make the eating and the holding a bit complicated. Hi, Larry. Hi, Melanie. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. We have 2 minutes to go, and I'm just going to keep on drinking because my voice is starting to suffer. This is, what did I order? Apricot juice. That's what I am. Very popular in Spain for some reason. Apricot juice, not something that I can ever get in the UK. So when I'm in Spain, I always order apricot juice without ice. And as you can see, they always put a slice of orange in here. I love apricots. I love apricots in cake. I love apricots on their own, and I love apricot juice because it's sweet, but it's not like super sharp, and it has like a very smooth, silky flavor. So that's what I order. And we have 1 minute and 20 seconds to go. Hi, Colleen. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, the juice is drunk, so I am now pure game for churros. Hi, Jan. How are you doing? Thank you so much. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're all staying warm and that you've brought some snacks or something to have with me while we're doing this. Hey, Gregory, how is it going? Thank you so much for joining. We have just 50 seconds to go. It's a little bit cold outside today. The terrace where we are, I don't know if you can see, this is actually, although it's glass, you can see through it, it's not all the way up, so we are not totally enclosed. Just at the top, there is just like a little parasol, essentially. So it stops the wind from coming in, which is the most important thing here in Santander. But, the temperature is still about 10 degrees, something like that. I'm not crying a river over it, but the humidity level here is very high. So there we go. Oh, I'm so glad. Well, hopefully this from the office will keep you warm and maybe give you a little bit of sweetness, Shannon. Okay, and here we go, about to get started. Hi, KG. We're literally just in time. Okay, excellent. So, hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Dr. Lilian Céspedes González, and although normally we're out and about talking about history, today we're doing my second favorite thing, eating. Literally. Thank you so much, KG. You're very kind. I very much appreciate it. But not just eating, I am going to explain to you what is the specific thing that we're eating, why we're having it here, and some of the origin stories and reasons why this is very popular in Spain. So, Right now, I am sitting outside of a very, very famous chocolateria, essentially a place for chocolate in Spain, which is called Valor. Valor has been making chocolate for Spain since right the end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th century, and they are essentially our Spanish chocolate trademark. Thank you so much, Juan and Beth. Thank you, thank you. -4 in southern England is, oh, okay, yes, that's very cold. Stay warm, Jan. Hi, Memphis Paul. How are you? Hi, John G. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Just getting started. So, as I was explaining, we are in Chocolateria Valor. Why? Because right now is merienda time. So let me explain what Valor are and what merienda is and what we're having for merienda. So, starting with merienda. Merienda is an interesting meal that we have in Spain. It's not exclusive to Spain, or at least not just a concept that we have in Spain. It happens in other Mediterranean countries. But the entire point of merienda is sort of a little snack, a little meal that you have between your lunch and your dinner. Hi, Wendy. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Now, here in Spain, in case you don't know, our lunches and everything else work at different timetables than many other places in Europe. We have breakfast a little bit later, from about 8 to about 11. That's still considered breakfast. Then we have lunch normally after 12:30. Most households after 1 o'clock all the way up to 3, even 4 o'clock, depending on the house. And then we don't have dinner in Spain normally until at least 9. If you're an early dinner taker, 8:30 at most, but that's not very common. Most houses have dinner between 9 and 11 p.m. So as you can see, from your lunch to your dinner, there is a big gap. So merienda particularly is very much used for children because they finish school right after 5. From 5 till, even 8:30. It can still be a long way to go. So you normally give them a snack, a little sandwich, something like that to keep them going. But, of course, adults can do this too. So the perfect time for merienda is between 5 o'clock and 7:30. After 8, you're already starting to push it. So what we're having today is merienda. Let me just show you briefly how this terrace looks. I'm just going to show you that we are outside. So we are currently in Calle Castelar. This is one of the main roads here in Santander. Hi, Casey. Hi, Dorley. Thank you so much for joining us. And we are, as you can see, completely indoors. That is the entrance to Chocolateria Valor. But, well, the signal in there is not so good, and the noise can have an impact. So I decided to stay out here where we are, as you can see, just covered by this little sort of parasol, and then the walls up to protect us from the wind. And here, hi Anne, thank you so much for joining. Here in Chocolateria Valor, we are about to have chocolate con churros. Chocolate and churros. I will give you a proper first viewing in just a moment, but let me explain why. So, chocolate con churros is a very popular thing to eat in Spain, and merienda is really the perfect time to have it because the churros, have carbohydrates. They're good to keep you going, and the chocolate essentially is like when you have a coffee or a tea with your friends. Merienda is really a good time to, again, get together, have that sort of sociable time that, Spanish people like doing, going out and eating together. That's what we do. In fact, across from where I'm standing here, there is a bunch of older ladies. They're about to get together, all of them, 8 of them, for merienda and just catch up for the week, for the weekend. Very, very popular thing to do. And we are in Chocolateria Valor, for those of you who didn't start the tour with me right at the beginning, because Chocolateria Valor is a Spanish brand, so you cannot find Valor chocolate, at least not, official Valor chocolate outside of Spain. And on top of doing the sort of chocolate pieces, like this one that you see here, chocolate bars, normally speaking, they do traditional chocolate with churros. Now, I'm sure when most of you guys think of chocolate, you think of, something smooth, silky, runny, that type of stuff. The chocolate here for Spain is very different, and that's what I'm going to show you now. Hi, Queen Ariel. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're doing good. So let me just grab the gimbal quickly and show you the churros and the chocolate. So these are the famous churros. Now, the churros are essentially just, the dough is just flour, water, a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt. And here you have chocolate. Now, this is the traditional chocolate, which is, as you can see, very, very thick. Hi, Jean. Hi, Eliza. Thank you so much for joining. And this is the one that has a little bit of milk. It's not pure. Normally, traditional chocolate, when you ask for it in Spain, is just as pure as it goes. It's completely dark, very bitter and thick. What I have ordered, hi, Janny from Long Island, is a white chocolate with a little bit of vanilla. And as you can see, it's almost as thick as custard. Oh no, don't worry, Queen Ariel. We're literally just getting started. So as you can see, our idea of chocolate or hot chocolate is very different. Why is that? Well, I'm sure you all know chocolate came to Europe from the New World thanks to the Spanish and Portuguese colonies. The original version of chocolate, chocolatal, as it will eventually be translated from the Aztec recipe, was essentially, cocoa with water. The one that you're seeing here is not cocoa with water. In Chocolateria Valor, they literally grab their chocolate, these bars, and they just melt them straight out. They give you, I don't know if you can see here next to the churros, they give you a glass of water for two reasons. The chocolate comes piping hot. So obviously it helps you cool down, and if you want to reduce it a little bit, you can use the water to do that. And of course, as you can see, all of this is quite thick. The churros don't have, anything to make them smooth. They tend to be quite dry. So the water just essentially helps you swallow it all down. So let me put the gimbal back on the table and tell you about a bit more about uh, about churros and chocolate. So churros are a traditional thing here in Spain, but it's interesting because we don't really know where they came from. I'm glad that you think they look delicious, Shannon. I'm about to try it because, like I said, it's very, very hot. Mm, mm, perfect. I don't know if any of you guys have ever tasted the chocolate bar Milky Bar from Nestle. If you've ever tasted Milky Bar, my chocolate is essentially Milky Bar melted. It's glorious. Right. So let me. Yes, not like Milky Way, Milky Bar. It's a little bit different. Right. So as you can see, this is a churro. I'm opening it in half. It is quite milky in this one. Well, not in my one because it's just the chocolate bar itself. So because mine is technically white chocolate, which does contain milk on its own, it just has the milk that would have been used to process the chocolate, but nothing else on it. No, traditional Spanish chocolate does not have milk at all. It's just water and cocoa. So as you can see, this is quite crispy, it is quite fluffy, and in this case, it barely has any sugar coating. You probably are familiar with the churros that come the traditional uh, from the traditional churrerias out on the street. The Milky Bar kit, yes, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Hi, Stuart, thank you so much for coming. The traditional churros that comes from the churrerias are something a little bit different. So you normally find them kind of a street food. They make the dough in the exact same way, and then what you do is you pull them from a churrera, which literally just it just puts the dough through the machine, and it just creates a churro. The churro is either a very very long strip of churro or a round type of shape that then you cut up. And normally they have the shape of a star or something like that, but we don't have that here today. It's just a traditional round churreria. And when you go to the churreria to grab churros off the street, they are normally covered in sugar. Here is not the case because, again, we're going to the very traditional idea of what a churro should be, which is kind of like a fritter, really. Let me just catch up with the chat. You used to find Milky Bar sickly. Well, this one tastes more like vanilla for sure, like a flour sausage. Exactly, exactly that, a flour sausage. Yes, the star-shaped ones are honestly, Shannon, the most common. Every other churreria here in Santander, so not even anywhere else in Spain, but even here in Santander, would have the star-shaped ones covered in sugar. Sometimes it can be normal sugar or cinnamon sugar. But Valor, like I said, is very traditional in that sense, so that's what we're having. No worries, Queen Ariel, take care. Dunkin' Donuts, yes, essentially that. It kind of does look like an open donut, and they are very similar to a donut. If you ever see like a street vendor doing a donut traditionally, it's almost the same dough, and the shape is very similar, and you fry them. Churros get fried, very hot oil. You just literally dunk the thing in, and then there you go. So the way you eat a churro with chocolate is this. Here be my chocolate. It's already dripping. Here is the churro. You literally dip it, and this is also the reason why the chocolate needs to be thick. You see, it kind of creates a proper coating, so then you can do, excuse my manners, like that. It needs to be thick so that it doesn't run off the churro. There we go. That's the reason why the chocolate is better thick. Yes, I was gonna get on to the filled one. So you may have seen sometimes that churros, this is the standard shape of a churro, about maybe 2 fingers width. You get some sometimes that are a lot thicker. We call those porras. Porra is also the Spanish word for a weapon that you use to hit somebody. It's normally what policemen are armed with. Well, the reason for that is because it simulates the shape of this weapon. And by doing that, with a little bit of bicarbonate, you just expand the dough so it has a little bit of give. This doesn't have a lot of give. And then you can inject them with chocolate, with jam, with anything else, which are the famous filled churros that Shannon is referring to. One moment, because this gets cold. Let me catch up with the chat while I eat. Does the white chocolate there have milk or is just cocoa butter? No. John, this one is just literally the cocoa itself. The only milk that it has is what would have been in the original chocolate bar. So no milk whatsoever. And in general, like I said, the traditional, I'll show you again, the traditional chocolate is just as pure and as thick as it comes. Let me put the churro aside. I'm glad that you guys like Tronchon. Yes, probably. Hi, Kojumi. How are you doing? Right. Let me show you again. So, this is the traditional chocolate. As you can see, again, this is very, very thick. It's really kind of like goop in that sense. It's mostly just cocoa itself and then melted to make it, a hot beverage that you can dunk something in. This one in particular has like 1% milk or something like that. It's not the pure one. The pure one is just the darkest cocoa that you can find. As you can see, the churros are going down, and then we have here my chocolate and my half-eaten churro. And literally, just in case you miss the motion, this is literally all you do. You just grab a little bit. It's literally just like dipping. It's essentially sweet dips. That's it. The original dipping idea came from churros. I'm joking. It doesn't solidify when it cools. Yes, it does, Shannon. It is so thick. I mean, I'm sure you can see this is the general movement of the chocolate. Mine has a little bit more give because it's white chocolate, so it's a little bit more runny. But if this goes cold, it literally will become solidified again, pretty much in the same shape and with the same consistency that if it was the original chocolate bar. So yes, that's pretty much how it goes. I mean, it's delicious. Even if you wait for this to cool down, it's absolutely glorious and tasty. But of course, the best way of having this type of chocolate is hot. Chocolateria Valor now does cold hot chocolates, so you still get a normal beverage like this, but cold in the summer. But obviously today was not the day for it. Hi Virginia, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. So let me bring you back to the table. So this is how we eat chocolate with churros here in Spain. The only reason, Robin, why I have the white chocolate, or I decided to have it here, is because I love the normal chocolate, but when it's very hot, I would need to take 3 times the amount of time to talk to you guys that I'm doing now. So it's purely for practical purposes, not for anything else. It looks so good, like you're enjoying it. Well, yes, and this is I really like doing this, particularly with my granny, My granny loves chocolate. She loves churros. It's really, really one of those activities that I'm sure every single Spanish kid remembers in a particular cold, evening during not just Christmas, but the winter, whatever. It is literally such a fond memory that we all have here. Hi, Rachel. Thank you so much for joining. But yes, I mean, the good thing about Chocolateria Valor, and this is the other reason why I wanted to come here and tell you a bit more about them, is because their expertise is in chocolate with churros. So they have like 5 or 6 different varieties of chocolate with churros that you can have here. Most traditional Spanish places to eat chocolate in churros. There is another one here, for example, in Santander called Chocolateria Valor, which just gives you the traditional chocolate with churros. That's it. That's your only option. So if you prefer, slightly sweeter chocolate or chocolate that is not, pretty much like gruel or something like that, it's almost impossible to get it anywhere but in Valor. And the reason why Valor have that, upper bracket is because they already work with the chocolate. They're already making the chocolate and they can, fix that and open it up to a much wider audience. Hi, Wapu. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Right. Let me finish this churro and I will continue. And the other reason why things in Valor here work well is because this chocolate doesn't have any sugar. Well, it just has whatever sugar was added already to the original chocolate bar. So to one of these, they bring you out the chocolate, so you put it in. So again, imagine just having a full thick mug of Spanish hot chocolate with then churros. It can be a bit, it's either too much or too little. Here in Valor, because theirs is a little bit sweeter because of the recipe, the churros have no added sugar. But in a lot of other places, you would have the traditional pure black chocolate with churros that have sugar in it to try and, compensate the flavor from one thing to the other one. But the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about was how do churros come from Spain? How do we end up eating churros in Spain? This is a convoluted subject that we actually don't have a clue about properly. So everything that I'm about to tell you is hypotheticals, essentially. But let me have a little bit of my sip of my white chocolate. It's really good. I'm sorry I cannot share it with you because it's really good. Okay, so where do churros come from? No idea. Here are the theories. Now, theory number one suggests that in Spain, particularly in the mountains, so regions like Cantabria that have, up to 2,000 meters above the sea level, shepherds, unable to create typical doughs and sweets like many other places would because of the cold, created the churros because you don't need the dough to really settle in. It can have different variations in temperature. It doesn't affect it. And what you need to do is fry it. And therefore, by frying it, you're killing any potential germs, and it allows you a bit more of versatility, particularly at high altitudes. Perhaps. Seems a bit of a strange, theory that is difficult to test. I thought churros come from the churro fairy, from the churro factory for sure. Yes, I love that. I love that. Excellent. Thank you so much, Shannon, for the tip. Very much appreciated. Um, the theory, no churro tree. I hate to say this, Dorley. Unfortunately, I have not found the churro tree just yet, but I'll be looking for it. The other theory is that in Roman times, there was already a fritter, literally just, essentially dough with water and then on to fry, that kind of was like a churro and that was savory, and that then as our chocolate arrives from the New World, and we are the main exporters of chocolate for a main while here in Spain, we mix the one thing with the other thing, and that's how chocolate con churros comes about. Sounds reasonable. Thank you so much, Colleen. Much appreciated. But there is another theory. I'm going to leave you in the cliffhanger while I eat the last churro, just building the tension. If I can just not pour this all over the microphone, that would be great. See, now that it's not boiling hot, I can actually eat this quite quickly because otherwise it's just like melting lava going into your mouth again because it has no milk. So it's just, I mean, I don't know if you guys bake or cook, but if you just literally melt pure chocolate or pure cocoa, it is kind of like melting cheese. It's unforgiving. Once it goes in, it just burns, completely burns. I'm sorry, Shannon. Come over to Santander or around Spain, and I'll take you to the next Chocolateria Valor. I swear, it's really good. Well, we think that the other alternative to churros, come, all of you, come over and we'll get together here like these ladies are doing in the corner, and we'll have a massive Heygo hangout with churros. Excellent, I'll see you here. But we think that perhaps churros have their origin in Asia. We actually know of a Chinese kind of fritter, very similar to churro, even in shape. It looks a bit more like a twist, that is called Zhou Tai, I believe. And these are done in the exact same way. So it's the same type of dough. Instead of having the star, it's literally something that they do kind of manually, and then they dunk it into oil, and you have it kind of like a snack. Now, it seems that the Portuguese, as they were the first people of Western Europe to get in contact with with the Asian cultures of China, may have seen that, think about it, bring it to Iberia, and then through Portugal, it may have infiltrated into Spain. And of course, afterwards, once Spain opened up its doorway to the Pacific, thanks to the Spanish Empire, we may have refined the recipe, and with the chocolate that then we acquired from our other colony in the New World, we mix them together, kind of as a colonial dish, if you think about it. So maybe chocolate con churros is kind of like the British tea, something that the empire got there, and suddenly they made it their own and just took the whole of the society by craze. Maybe. I mean, to me, that sounds also like a reasonable theory. It could be all of them together in some kind of, pandemonium that then evolve into our modern version of churros. But like I said, neither of those three theories have been proved and tested. So it is hard to say which one of them three is the real one and the true one. So as usual, I leave you guys to decide which one is the most likely origin of churros. Now, let me finish this last piece that I have, and I'll catch up with the chat very quickly. And you can theorize about the origin of churros. I mean, I'm very happy with the churro fairy. I think this I'm happy with that. I will pray that the churro fairy brings me some more next weekend. Let's see if it happens. All right. Let's catch up with it. Oh my God, Adrian, you just know all the chocolate. I want it. Have you ever found anything like it in the UK? Not really, Jeannie. I mean, the handmade donuts in the UK, the dough itself is quite similar, but the chocolate is completely different. The hot chocolate that we have here in the UK, well, not here in the UK, I'm here now in Spain. The hot chocolate that we normally have in the UK, is what most people probably now think of hot chocolate. So there is no similar combination. And the only place where I've ever had churros that are remotely similar, and I mean both in shape, taste, and the chocolate being the right flavor, has actually been at a Mexican restaurant. There was a Mexican restaurant in London, the name of which now escapes me. Yeah, I can't remember what they were called. They were not a chain, they were an individual restaurant that, of course, had the little churros with chocolate to dip in for dessert. And the chocolate was not chocolate sauce. It was actually, again, like the Aztec version of chocolate, of the chocolato, that is essentially the melted cocoa into, a pot where you just dunk the churro in. But it's the only place in the UK where I've seen anything similar to it. I know, for example, in the United States, particularly in the states that used to belong to the Spanish Empire, porras, the filled churros with either chocolate or anything else, are quite popular. So over there, yes. But in the rest of Europe, it's very hard to find proper churros with chocolate. Making churros on their own is fine. Like I said, the dough is nothing special. It's just flour, water, oil, done. It's just all about how you put it together and how you do the pulling in the churrera, in the machine that actually gives the churro the shape and that then creates the dough properly. So it's more about getting the dough right and then frying it properly than anything else. So getting the churro right is not hard. It's finding the right combination of churro and chocolate. Right, let me catch up with the chat. Okay, going to get some churros from the delivery service after watching this. Let me know how they are. It was actually not the Incas, the Aztecs themselves, and probably actually the Olmecs prior to the Aztecs. So it seems to have come properly from South America, but we keep on having new evidence that push it from different parts of the continent. So many cultures there were actually working with it. But the chocolate, as it came to us to Europe, it came from the Aztecs directly, that then inherited it from the Mayans. So it's been a recycled recipe. Jonathan is the only thing to do. Hey, Carson, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us here with the churros. I'm sure we're getting to the end of the churros. Some say that a churro was FO. Excellent. No worries. Going to see which place gives you churros. Excellent. Well, I hope you find it. We do definitely have a very big sweet tooth, and actually I wanted to tell you about this because another potential origin for churros, but this one has almost been discredited, links them with Morisco culture. Now, I don't know if you know, but about 82%, I think it is, of Spanish recipes for any desserts actually come from the legacy of Al-Andalus, from the Muslim kingdom of Spain that actually took over the country for over 700 years, and that many of you probably have learned about in the Spanish Golden Age. So another potential idea was that this actually came from the Middle East, and then when we acquire the chocolate from the empire, we mix them together. But that seems it seems unlikely now, but you never know. We are always in time to discredit and prove things differently. Right. This is the last bit of churro, guys. I'm sorry. We're consuming the last churro. I'm sorry to make you jealous, but it's honestly delicious. Hi, Graciela. Thank you so much for joining. I used to drink abuelita chocolate. Yes, it is. It does come in solid form, and it's very similar. And actually, in Mexico, you can find pretty much the same thing. And in Mexico, you can find really good churros. So if you ever have the chance, if you cannot come all the way to Spain, Mexico is your other good alternative. No worries. Hi, Sam. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Well, hi, MB. Welcome. I drink that here in Texas. Well, there you go. Amazing. Well, as some people have just joined now, hi, Lorna. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to show you the very, very last residue of the churros and the chocolate. Hi, Robert. Thank you so much for joining. Right. Let me bring you up to speed. So this is the outside of Chocolateria Valor. So as you can see, in case you've joined at the end of the tour, we're just outside in the terrace. Spanish people, even though in the north and it's quite windy, we love eating in terraces. This is the way to go. Eat outside. Enjoy the weather, even though the weather may be miserable. That's literally all that remains of the churro. There is nothing left. As you can see, I haven't touched my water. I haven't needed to yet, but that's well. I've also been eating my churros quite slowly. This is my white hot chocolate, which is not the traditional. The traditional, there's not much left of this, is this. Now, for those of you who have just arrived, as you can see, our idea of chocolate is something quite solid. Not the immediate thought that most people have when they think of chocolate. No worries, Sam. It's not an issue. Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm not sure if in Mexico they have this kind of tradition of eating it in the same way we do, Jeannie. Unfortunately, that's not one thing I'm properly aware of, but I do know that they still consume them, at least as a dessert. And like I said, the most traditional way of doing this, if you're not sitting down in a chocolateria properly, is by doing it outside and going to a churreria and grabbing them just directly out of the machine. You found a restaurant in Mexico, in Brighton. That's amazing. Maybe we should go and try it. Maybe we should do version number 2 in the UK. That would be great. Yes, so it's much thinner. Well, there we go. Now we know, and that is very much all I have to share today with you guys. So you hopefully have learned what merienda is. So, if you're ever between your lunch break and your dinner and you don't know what to do, but you're a bit hungry, think merienda. I'll do the Spanish thing. I'll have a little bite with a nice drink and maybe a piece of cake. It can be savory as well. And that would be very Spanish. If you find a good place for chocolate con churros, just make sure that the chocolate is thick so you can enjoy the dunking there. And of course, the most important thing to enjoy chocolate with churros is good company. I'm here with my mom, but my mom is camera shy, so she doesn't want me for you guys to know. But the other chocolate is here with my mom. And like I said, if you're ever in Spain, remember, Chocolateria Valor. It's the best, it's the most traditional, and the way that you will enjoy it most. So hopefully, one of at least either churros, good company, or merienda, you should be able to achieve one of those. Is the next tour? No, the next tour is in a different place. So let me catch up with the chat very quickly, and I'll bring you up to speed. Yes, so we should definitely check that one out, Jeannie. I'm up for that. I'm glad that you guys have enjoyed it, and hopefully it's given you a better idea of some Spanish traditions, why we do things this way, what type of food we do. I'm sorry, Dennis, that you've just arrived towards the end of the tour. I'm sorry. And yes, it's not on the exact same thing. So it's another food tour. Oh, todo el mundo te está diciendo hola. Hello, everybody. She's saying hello, everybody. I don't know if you just heard her. Thank you so much, John. But on Monday, we're doing another surprise tour in a different part of the city. So on Monday, depending on the weather, because that will determine in which place we will end up having some traditional tapas. And my intention is to show you the most traditional tapa here in Santander. So not just of Spain, but here in Santander. We are a region that is by the coast. We like our seafood. So hopefully I will show you a little bit of that and an extra one, because I'm not just going to have one tapa. That would be a bit lame. We should have a bit of things to mix. And I will also order a very traditional drink here from Spain, which is not used, which is mosto. So if you're joining on Monday, because it's at lunchtime, you see, I'm doing the pre-lunch tapas. So that then you get the full experience as to why we do it there and what's the purpose of that pre-lunch tapas too. And that's the end of the tour for now, guys. So thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed the merienda. Thank you so much for joining me. And I really, really hope to see you sometime next week. Oh, thank you so much. I will say Merry Christmas to my mom and many thank yous. So thank you so much, everybody. Mwah. Take care, and I see you soon. Hasta luego. Adios, and cheers with my churros and chocolate. Bye-bye.